Hey everybody, you've made it to day 8. Congratulations. This is a tricky, tough boot camp to get through, and I just so appreciate your tenacity and hard work. My name is Sarah Harnish, and I'm the author of the Game Plan series. Game Plan is the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver, and I apologize, I'm running a few minutes late today. Of course, if you guys are watching this on the website, it's not going to hit you at all, but it does hit those of you that are watching it live. And the reason I'm running behind is because I just came from my kids' basketball game. I've got 4 kids playing competitive sports at a high school level, and 2 of them, it's their senior year. So that's one of the things I thought that I would talk to you guys about as leaders, and we'll talk about that in just one moment. But I do want to just run through logistics again, if you're just joining me, of how to run a game plan boot camp. Maybe you're starting it for the first time this week. Maybe you didn't jump in last week, and that's totally okay. The nice thing about this is you can take it at your pace, however you choose, right? It's not, it doesn't have to follow my pace. So I'm going to flip over to the website here, oilabilityteam.com. If you go to the Start Here button, there's a button that says Game Plan Boot Camp. And the nice thing is all the videos are tight. They're in one place. They're easy to grab right here, right? Day 1 to 12. You just click on it, you copy the link, and you paste it right in your business group. And you can do this as fast or slow as you choose to do, right? It doesn't, was it a win? Yeah, we won all the games. Thank you for asking. All of them. So today's day 8. Which is growing your business through social media, blogging, vlogging, Facebook, Instagram, and then also staying legal, comprehensive FDA compliance training. And I'm just going to give you a couple of tips as leaders on how to hit that. And there's a couple of things that I want you guys to know to convey to your team when you're working through day 8. We'll be doing day 9 tomorrow, and then 10, 11, and 12, and then our training for how to do this is over. So the nitty gritty of it is you click on one of the links. So today's 8, so I'll click on day 8. It's going to come up with a link here that says Bootcamp Day 8, and you just right click it, you copy it, and you paste it right into your business groups. And every day we're giving you a write-up so that you know exactly what to say, right? It's just really, really well packaged for you, so it's easy to be able to share. And that's how Bootcamp works, all right? We actually have a page too, under the Start Here button that we put together just for leaders that says how to run a game plan boot camp. If you click on that thing, this is brand new. We just added this to the website, just to make it easier for you to be able to run your own boot camps with your team. Underneath it, just some FAQs. So what is boot camp? Does it actually work? Does it get results? I've got about 8,000 emails in my personal email right now from people who have written saying, this is my OGV before I started boot camp, this is my OGV after. I ran boot camp and I hit silver in 1 month. I ran boot camp and I hit silver in 3 months. I was stagnant for 5 years and I started doing game plan, and now I'm not stagnant at all. My OGV is completely taken off, and it's blessed my family and it's blessed my team. I've read you guys some of these before, but inside the cover of Game Plan, Janelle says, I read Game Plan the same week. I decided I would give this business a try. I picked a class date, started boot camp. My first class turned into 2 back-to-back because I had so many people want to attend, and it was the beginning of my financial freedom. This month, I reached silver in 5, and I credit it mainly to the Game Plan. Last month, I had 100 people in my downline and decided it was finally time to do Game Plan with them. We started late last week with 7 girls, 3 just hit senior star and 3 star. Who would have known I had 3 business builders sitting right there in those first 2 classes? Not me. Train 2 to train 2 works. Thank you for giving me direction and confidence. Tracy, right underneath, says, I oiled for a full year with no intention of ever sharing about oils. Then I read your book and light bulbs went off as to the chemicals I had in my house that were harming my family. And I knew I had to share with loved ones and friends. I was a star. I skipped right past senior star and went to executive in 1 month. Then I earned silver in 4, and I proceeded to rank 44th in the race to finish and earn a trip to Hawaii. To say that I have been blessed is an understatement. Thank you for Game Plan. All right, so that's the power of this book. When you get everybody running in the same direction, and they do that by reading the book, doing the workbook, and watching the videos, they're trained inside out, and especially on FDA compliance, you protect a lot of your leaders with that, putting good tools in their hands, train them how to do things online or in person, training them to find their strengths. It's all in one place, right? Game plan's all in one place. So I've shown you guys this graphic before, but I'll show it to you again because it's been many nights since we've looked at it. But I wanted to make sure the game plan would work before before I released the book. I didn't want to release something that didn't have any results. And so I ran a beta test group with my team. This is when we were platinums, and we had a 30,000 OGV increase. And so for a platinum with an OGV of 100,000, that's really big numbers. That's great. We had 2,712 people when we ran our first boot camp. And we had an OGV of 130,000. That was in July of 2016. So I published Game Plan. We released it, and maybe you were on the very first boot camp. I did that 2 years ago in January. So the next boot camp I did with Team Young Living. We did it for everybody, and we had 4,241 people on the team then. This was in February of 2017, and we ended with an OGV of 274,000. It was a 70,000 OGV increase from our second Game Plan bootcamp that I ran on my team. Then what I started doing was I was training two to train two. So as soon as this ends, and we're going to talk more about this in days 10, 11, 12, but as soon as this ends, you pick two people and you run them through again. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're watching all the videos again with them. You're just copying and pasting the little write-ups that I've given you guys to do every single day. All right. Jamae is an original boot camper. So glad to have you on again. And so you're posting it maybe in an instant message with two of your leaders. Maybe you set up a little event with 5 of them that didn't get through the boot camp the first time. I like to look for leaders that have one really big leg and one small leg, because then when they build that second leg, their check is going to grow up very fast. It's going to get very big. Or taking my level 1s to silver or my level 2s to silver, just having strategy and how you're running it and what's going to most bless your team and your family, right? And so we started doing train 2 to train 2 boot camps, meaning as soon as you finish, you pull 2 other people through it. And then as soon as they finish, they pick 2 and they pull 2 people through it. And as soon as they finish, they pull 2 people through it. So we've done that for 21 months on our team. When I took the screenshot, we had 9,000 people on the team. We now have almost 9,400. And our OGV is 731,000. And this is in November 2018. So we're literally sitting right on the cusp, right on the edge of Crown Diamond now. And, it usually takes about 7 years to go from Diamond to Crown Diamond, according to the Income Disclosure Guide. And, February will be 2 years since we've hit Diamond. So it shaved a significant amount of time off of growing to Diamond just by running regular Game Plan boot camps. I do them team wide with my entire team. 2 times a year, so in January and July, and then I do train 2 to train 2 in the off months. So this explains how to run the boot camp, what they do after they watch the videos, and there's accountability online, and there's a community of your team members online, what's in Game Plan, how often do I need to run it, am I going to leave the videos up forever? Yes, and I'm not going to charge you for them. Should I do boot camp myself? If it's been 6 months, yeah, I do recommend it. All the videos are right here for the leaders specifically. These are different videos of the ones I'm shooting right now instead of the boot camp videos. So if you're a leader, you're going to watch this. And then there's some resources down here. You just right click on these. We even made graphics for you to make you look good. So countdown to boot camp, remind them to get their books, or it's the day that you're starting, or a countdown from 10 days all the way to 1 day. Right? It's all here on the How to Run a Game Plan Bootcamp page, and you'll be able to find write-ups there as well, and we're going to even add more graphics while you're going through and actually doing the boot camp. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about tonight is hustle. And, I hesitate using that word because it sends this implication that you have to burn yourself into the ground while you're working a 40-hour-a-week job, and you got to be teaching 20, 30 classes a month, and this is going to be very, very overwhelming for you. And that's not the case at all. All right, not the case at all. When I say hustle, what I mean by hustle is consistency. So teaching a class a week, making sure you're connecting with one person every single week. The top leaders in Young Living are having at least one kit sale a month. And according to corporate, the top 5% of Young Living business builders are selling 5 kits a month, or 2 kits and getting 3 people on ER, or 3 kits and getting 2 people on ER. That's where Help 5 originated from, was corporate going and looking at stats of the top business builders and the people that were growing the fastest, and looking at the people that got to Diamond in a short amount of time, and Crown and Royal, and what behaviors did they have that helped them to rank that fast. And it all came down to meeting with people. connecting with people in whatever way that looks like for you, whether it's if your way of connecting on Facebook leads to classes and leads to kit sales, and that works very well for you. If it's doing vendor events, and that works very well for you. The new game plan is not on Audible yet, but we should be able to release it in March. So stay tuned. It's coming. It's like over 150 hours of studio time to get it re-recorded. And there's 70 new pages, so it's even longer than that. And to get it all edited. So we will have it on Audible and Kindle this spring, the second edition. Just a lot of work. And I've got 2 kids graduating high school this year, and I want to see them graduate and not spend my whole life in the studio. So I've been pausing and being present and being mom, and then popping in when I have these little tidbits to work. Okay, so yeah. Oh, my order's on its way. I love it. I need to get over this no kit sale hump. Yes, absolutely. Make sure that you are connecting with at least one person a month. All right. And then you're going to be in the group of fastest growing leaders. If you're doing 5 a month, you're in the top. All right. The top of the top of the top. Brenda says, I have to be honest, when I started reading chapter 15 this morning, I flipped through the pages thinking I can't do this online stuff. But then I got to the last section about getting out of your comfort zone, and I will do things that scare me. So I turned back to the pages and reread them again. You know what? That's a real encouragement to me, Brenda. It really is, because I have a hard time doing things online, which is really funny because I'm leading a business page here with 60,000 people on it. But that's not my strength. My strength is sitting on a couch and connecting with another mom and building those relationships, those in-person classes. I could teach a 101 class with 20,000 people in it, and I'll have 2 kit sales from it. Or I can sit on my couch with 8 women and have 100% kit sales. I had 5 classes this weekend, and we had 100% kit sales in the classes. Those in-person relationships just come very naturally for me. And so what I want to tell you is, whatever your gift set is, that's where you should grow. That's where you should be blooming and blossoming and putting all your seeds in the ground. If you've never run a blog before, don't try to launch your Young Living business from blogging, all right? If you don't even know how to log into your Facebook account, probably not a very good way of connecting with people and teaching online Facebook classes. A lot of times I see people trying to do online stuff because they think it's easier than the in-person stuff, especially if you have kids. But you know what? It's actually a lot of work, because you still have to build the relationships, but instead of having them right in front of you to build it, now you got to do it all online. So every person that likes every comment, you got to go send them a Facebook IM. Every person that comments on any of your posts, you got to go send them a Facebook IM. And then you've got these 80 conversations going in Instant Messenger, trying to keep them all straight. You know, for me, it seems easier to just talk to them when they're standing right in front of me on my couch. But you know what? I'm not going to badmouth on building online, because there's a lot of leaders that have been very, very successful building on Instagram and building on Facebook. So I recognize that it's just not my strength. And so it's a lesson that wherever your strength is, that's the area that you should be focusing on. And if you know something isn't your strength, so if doing stuff on Vimeo and understanding the technology to be able to get your 101 classes online and get them time released and all that, if that doesn't come very naturally to you, then don't begin your business in that place. And if you don't know what your strength is, then grab the 3-page script in the back of Game Plan and go sit down and read it to your mom and your best friend, and then connect with one person at work and try to teach them a class, right? That would be my course of action, because according to corporate, 70% of people train in that way. 70% of people do product education in person. So that's a place that I would begin if you're not really sure where your strengths are. But if you're really techo savvy and you're really, really good with stuff online, then maybe you start on Instagram, right? Or maybe you start on Facebook. Or if you are a very gifted blogger and you do have a good wide blogging audience, then maybe you start there, all right? But don't jump to a grass is greener on the other side kind of a scenario where you think that you're doing the better thing because you're following somebody else who's had success in it, but it's really not your gift set, right? Start with your strengths. All right, start with your strengths. So the next thing that I wanted, so that was on the blogging chapter. The FDA compliance chapter, I was just going to tell you on that, just keep it simple. You know, if you don't know what the compliant thing is to say, then check Young Living's website, look at their wording. They've got fantastic write-ups for the oils now. They've revamped all those pages. You know, pull some of the language from some of those web pages for Thieves or for Lemon or for Panaway or Raven. Pull their wording and stick to what's on the website, and you're going to keep yourself in a safe place. So don't talk about the illness, talk about the organ, right? Don't talk about why you're using it, talk about where you're using it, how you're using it, not why. And you're going to avoid a lot of headaches with compliance, and be especially careful what you're posting online. In any format, whether it's on a website or whether it's on Facebook or any of your social media outlets, you really got to be careful with what you're putting online, because that's where the hunt begins, right? So those are my tips for you for doing some of the classes online and also FDA compliance training. Now, the thing I want to end on tonight for leaders is hustle, because you got to have your family and your work in a certain order of priorities, right? God, spouse, kids, work, which includes Young Living. So God, spouse, kids, work. And as a leader, you got to be setting that pace and that trend for your team. So tonight I got on and I did this video about 40 minutes later than what I normally would have done. But you know what? My kids have maybe 8 games left and they graduate high school. And this is the last sport they're playing. And my son, he doesn't want to go to college. He wants to build his Young Living business, get to silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And he's itching at the bit. He's already had tons of personal development training. He's traveled all over the world. He's got multiple people he's talking to right now to sign. And he's ready to go. And that's what he wants to do. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to see him play basketball in college, right? I don't know. This game, 8 games from now, might be the very last time that I get to see him play. So coming on 40 minutes late for a boot camp, as a red, I'm like, I don't want to do that, right? But as a mom, God, spouse, kids, Young Living, right? It's got to be in that order. So knowing there's only a couple of these left and this season of our life is changing, and out of 5 kids, we'll have 3 kids out the door and only 2 at home, and my home is about to get much quieter in the fall. That means writing more books. I have 19 books in my head right now, 19 books that are outlined, and they're coming. All right? But right now, I had to go to my kid's basketball game, right? And that's okay. Right? That's all right. So what I would tell you is, strike up that balance between where your family is and what you're putting into your job. However, use caution, right? Use caution. Don't turn around 2 months from now and realize you haven't taught a class in 8 weeks because you're running from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that in those little widgets of time that you have, that you do carve out a little bit of space for Young Living, whether you're building relationships, marketing. Make sure you get that 2-hour class in every week. And maybe if your kids have a basketball game on Friday night, that class doesn't happen on Friday nights like it normally does for you. Maybe that class is going to be on Saturday morning at 10 in the morning instead. Right? Maybe it's that place instead, and that's okay. So hustle doesn't necessarily mean you're having 20 classes a month, right? Hustle means you are consistent and you are faithful. And if you're faithful with the small things, the Lord will make you ruler over more, all right? He's going to enlarge your platform. He's going to give you a place to speak from because you're faithful and you're having consistency. You're not out there bouncing around from thing to thing to thing to thing, turning around saying, oh my, I forgot about my business for the last 8 weeks, right? So 19 books, I'm never going to cancel Amazon Prime. Yeah, so next up for me is Unstuck. And that one is almost done. My goal is to get it to the publisher on February 28th. So I'm hustling on that, but catching my kids' games and pushing for crowns simultaneously. And then after that, we're going to be releasing an Unstuck workbook and a boot camp. So I'll be doing those in the fall. And then out of Unstuck is going to spring 3 more sets of minis. We already have Fearless, and I already have the Fearless calendar, the 30-day challenge. Well, that takes care of your 101 classes with oils, but I'm going to release 3 more minis for Ningxia and Thieves and Savvy. Little $1 booklets that you can share the why behind it. It's not going to be a pretty, colorful, here's what's in your starter kit unboxing book. It's going to be this is why makeup poisons your skin. This is why you're putting 300 chemicals on your face every single day and 80 of them before breakfast, right? This is what the effects are on your liver, and this is why you need to switch to Savvy. This is what Ningxia does for your body, right? This Ningxia contains 4 out of 8 good sugars that open up those cell receptors so that good messages can get passed inside your cells. Good messages like how to regulate your blood sugar, right? How much insulin should be passed around, your hormone regulation, pain management, all that is passed, that information, that communication. Well, Ningxia's got the sugar to open up those cells so that it can pass through the lipid layer and get inside and pass the information. It's communication, right? So all of this information is going to be in these little tiny minis. And then we're also going to have 30-day calendars as well. So they'll have a 30-day Ningxia challenge and a 30-day Savvy challenge. You already have Fearless. They're going to have a 30-day Thieves challenge with a 3 cabinet challenge where they go through and start kicking some of the things out of their cabinets. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And we'll be updating the website. There will be textable classes, textable Ningxia classes, textable Savvy classes. Thieves is already up there in Toxin-Free Life. So those all go along with Unstuck, okay? Because Unstuck ends with 4 classes. And they are the 4 classes that are the 4 starter kits, right? Because you want to start people with starter kit. You want to just completely forget that there's a retail option, because that doesn't lead to longevity on your team. What leads to longevity is getting 24% off of everything that you order. That leads to longevity, right? And that leads to an oily lifestyle, and that leads to getting on Essential Rewards, because things aren't so completely expensive for them to be able to break the bank. So I totally got off track on this. So Unstuck, I'm targeting for convention. I'm going to try really hard to get the book and workbook done for convention so we can launch a boot camp with you guys in the fall, during the fall rush. And then the minis will be coming out over the course of the next year, the minis and the calendars. We're also designing PowerPoints for you guys, really nice professional PowerPoints with voiceovers in them, pre-recorded things like how Ningxia was discovered. I've got some things up my sleeve that are going to blow your doors off on that, and the PowerPoint. It's all free. The calendars will be on my website for free. The PowerPoints will be up for free. Textable classes will be up for free. All of this stuff is just tools to help you guys as you're training your team. All right, and as you're spending 80% of your time prospecting and bringing new people in. So yeah, it's all coming. It's all coming. All right. Yeah, PowerPoints as well. Do you guys know there's a 101 PowerPoint up at the moment for you to teach? If you go to oilabilityteam.com and you go to share, you'll see textable class and then also PowerPoint. And there's a textable class for toxin-free life. I'm going to be adding a PowerPoint for that as soon as I'm done with this boot camp. But textable class, you just click on it. And the audio is right here. It's recorded in a $100,000 radio studio, so it's got amazing quality. Listen to this.
Hello there. My name is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond, the author.
See? And then, yes, there's also, if you look on here, there's also PowerPoint. You click on that, and the entire PowerPoint, you just download it. It's right here. You click on it. It's going to download it, and then you open it, and you can save it to your computer, and it's built right off the 101 script. So you share your journey with Young Living, and it perfectly follows it. They're the most powerful part of the plan. There's support for your body. This is what's in the kit. Here's how you apply oils, right? And the script is all built in. And so this is free on the website. We're going to have 3 other PowerPoints as well that go with all of the other scripts. So textable classes, I just copy, right click, and text it to people. It's awesome. Yeah, and it's going to save you guys a lot of time. I've sold a lot of kits using textable classes. You need it in Spanish. Well, we thought about that. And so we're actually working on a couple of things, some Spanish textable classes and PowerPoints. The textable classes are already done in Spanish. We just have to put them on the website. And then we have a ton of Spanish resources already for you put together. We can work on PowerPoints as well. So far, the CDs have been released in Spanish, so Toxin-Free Life and the 101, and Game Plan and the Mini are also available in Espanol. Okay, they're all Spanish resources. So if you click on it, it'll take you right to where you can grab some Spanish resources for your team. We're also working on closed captioning all the bootcamp videos and all of these videos as well, so that any of your team that's deaf, you're able to get on and they will be able to see it, because the videos will be closed captioned for them. We're also opening 5 countries this year for Game Plan, so very excited about that too. Australia will be in the next couple of weeks. Then after that, we will be launching Europe and Canada and Mexico all this year. And then after that, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and China and Hong Kong. So if you have any teams that are out there that cannot get business resources, they're going to be able to order it. It's printed in their own country, and it's going to ship to them without international shipping and customs fees. So all my friends in Canada that have been working so hard, we have huge teams behind the scene just working their tush off to make these resources available to you guys. All right? Yes, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. But that wasn't what I want to talk to you about tonight. Let me just wrap up here real quick. I'm talking about how important it is that you continue to do the mom thing or the dad thing or the grandma or grandpa thing or the working full-time thing while you're doing this, right? While you're working on these 2 things together, while you're doing Young Living, you have to do them both. All right, you got to do it when you're tired. You got to do it when you just got home from work and you don't want to put your shoes on and go back out the door. You got to do it when you're done homeschooling your kids. You got to do it when your kids are done with public school, and you got to go pick them up at the bus stop. You got to continue doing it despite all the exhaustion you feel, because this is how you get out of the exhaustion, right? 2 hours a week releases you from 40. All right, 8 hours a month releases you from 160 hours a month. So it's so important as a leader that you don't slip into leader mode and you stop teaching classes. You stop teaching classes, you're dead in the water, because getting people on ER and finding leaders, neither of those things happen without the classes. So you can only live off of your existing team for so long. All right, and then your OGV is going to slowly start dropping because standard numbers across Young Living is about 3% attrition. So each year you're going to lose about 3% of your team. And if you're not teaching at least more than 3%, you're going to be losing them, right? You're going to be losing them. So it's really important that you're keeping your class count at least a class a week. I could tell you out of our 57 silvers we have on the team, 41 out of the 57 hit silver in 6 months or less. And they were not out there teaching 20 classes a month. They're teaching 1 class a week or 4 to 6 classes a month. It's just that steady, consistent behavior. 41 out of 57 doesn't lie. That means with consistency and tenacity, you're going to get there. You're going to get to the goal. I really believe with my whole heart. It doesn't matter if you are deaf. It doesn't matter if you are blind. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom. It doesn't matter if you used to be an alcoholic. It doesn't matter if you're abused. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert. It doesn't matter if you don't have any money and you're living in abject poverty by American standards. It doesn't matter if you live in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter if you have no internet. None of those things matter. Okay, because there are diamonds with all of those things. So it doesn't matter, all right? It doesn't matter. But what does matter is how much you're getting out of your house and how much you're connecting with people, right? And as a leader, your team is not going to duplicate that behavior if you're not out there doing that behavior. So it's so important that you are sharing consistently, that you are sharing deliberately with purpose, that you are sharing with tenacity, even when you're tired, even after your kids' basketball games, you're connecting, right? You're not losing that time, you're connecting. You've got to keep moving even when you're wiped. And it's going to be really hard, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. There were many times in those 288 classes I had before we hit Diamond that I was absolutely wiped. And man, I wanted to cancel that class so bad. I have not canceled a class yet. We're on the edge of Crown Diamond. We've done this for 4 years, and I still have never canceled a class. But I'm also very careful to make sure that the kids' basketball games get in, right? And to make sure that my husband and I get a walk every day so we have time to talk to each other. And to make sure that our homeschool day gets in and that my cell phone is off while we're homeschooling. And my leaders know if they text me before 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a urgent message, they're not going to get a hold of me because that's a sacred circle with my children that will not be crossed. But then when the phone is on and school is over, it's time to work, right? To respond to the text messages, to pick up the phone and connect with a leader, to get out there and teach classes and teach them every single week and not just sideline everything because I had one woman write me and she's like, well, family matters. I have to let this business go because my family matters. I said, you need to hold on to this business with both hands because your family matters, because this is how you take care of your family, right? The issue is not that the business is pushing the family out of your life. The issue is you haven't learned balance. Right? You haven't learned how to juggle keeping the important things at the forefront and putting your business just behind that, but making sure the business gets done. You've got to do both of them. And some of that is just protection and borders and boundaries over your business. You protect those little windows of time you have for your business the same way you protect the windows of time around your family. Right? You're very protective over your time that you have to connect with leaders. My kids know. Do you see any children in this house right now? I actually have sleepovers going on in my house with teenagers right now. And 1 minute before I hit play, they were screaming and giggling through all of my house. My kids know if they make a peep when I am doing these videos, whether they're to you or to my team, they are dead, right? There's like no cell phone for a month if they tick me off because they're out of control with their noise level. And what is that? That's a boundary and a border around my business, right? This time is yours. It belongs to you. When I was sitting at the game, cell phone was off and my time belonged to my children. So having discipline and really protecting those borders of your business and protecting those borders of your family and protecting them equally, right? So you set aside time for your business. Say maybe you have 4 hours a night with your family, but you have 30 minutes a day for your business. You don't let kids come in and interrupt those 30 minutes, right? That's a sacred circle for your business. So it's got to be a two-way street. Otherwise, you find you get to the end of the street and you didn't get your business in at all, right? Or on the flip side, you get to the end of the street and you didn't get your family in at all, and then you have mommy guilt, and that's really bad, all right? Anna says, I'm doing boot camp, a devotional, and 21 days of prayer for your business. Woo, to keep me on track, to keep me motivated, yes. Janine says, I really need to work on business. I don't do well with that. You know what? I don't do well with it either. I really don't, which is why I wrote a book on balance with the ULA guys, because I really wanted to get better at studying their technique so that I had better balance with my family and with my kids. And what I realized is it just comes down to self-control and discipline more than anything else, right? I haven't got my full run in today, so I'm going to get off of this and get on the treadmill and go get my run in, because that taking care of my body and self-care is just as important as taking care of my children, taking care of my spouse, right? And taking care of my business. They're all important. And I know you're going to feel like many days you run and you spin one plate, and then you run and you spin another plate, and you run and you spin another plate, and you run and you spin another plate. Guys, it's not going to get any easier, all right? When you're a diamond, now you got a team of 9,100 instead of a team of 100, right? It doesn't get easier, but I think by the time that you get gold and platinum and diamond, you do learn a little bit more about how to spin. And you'll learn a little bit more about when to let phone calls go and when to take them. And a little bit more on how to turn to your kids and say, listen, you are going to face punishment if you interrupt this one more time. This is a sacred circle for my business. I respect you when it's our time to be together, and you need to respect me when it's my time to get my job done. This job pays for your food. It pays for your internet and your cell phone. It pays for your friends to be over here and for me to shuttle you around everywhere you want to go. So if you interrupt this, there's no paycheck. And I guess that means no cell phone, right? Because we don't have the money to cover the bill for your cell phone. So the kids learn really, really quick not to interrupt it. And sometimes, it's hard to understand lines with network marketing because it's home-based. So people assume, if you're home, you can do anything, right? You set your own hours. You can work whenever you want. And that's not necessarily the case, right? I had to tell my kids, listen, when I anchor news, you can't just walk into the studio when I'm talking to 5 million people and my mic is open and sit down and carry on a conversation, want to show me videos on YouTube. You can't do that. Right? So this is the equivalent of that for Young Living for me. When you come in and I'm on a Facebook Live, you can't just walk up to me and talk. If you do, very bad things are going to happen in your life, right? Very, very bad things. Like, you're going to lose stuff you really don't want to lose. So you need to respect me. And in turn, I'm going to respect you. When this phone is off and this business is off, which I promise you it's not on 24/7 because I can't handle it being on 24/7. When this business is off, it's your time, all right? And that means I'm not scrolling through, responding to text while you're trying to talk to me. It means I'm engaged in your basketball game while your game's going on. I'm not sitting there on my cell phone, blocking out, missing you, make all of your shots. It means that there's a mutual respect on both sides, okay? All right. So Melissa says, that's what's holding me back, fear. You've already talked about that. Fear if I can be a good leader. Melissa, just teach classes, okay? Just teach classes, and your confidence is going to grow as you realize that you're able to do this, that people get a kit and they believe the words coming out of your mouth, right? And there's conviction there, and there's tenacity there. As your check grows, your feeling of purpose with this will grow as well. And your level of confidence is going to grow as well. And you literally grow into each rank. You grow into the rank of star, and you grow into the rank of senior star, and you grow into the rank of executive. I'm not actually for it when people go like, skip star, senior star, hit executive, skip silver, hit gold, like tink, tink, tink. I love seeing you sit at a rank, even if it's just for a couple of months, because God's got something to teach you at every single rank. Right? I have learned so much by sitting at Diamond for 2 years. And I finally I didn't feel ready in November, but I finally feel ready for that rank now. I'm like, shoot, Crown Diamond, we got this, right? We got this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? All things. And when we're living in a place of fear, that's against Scripture, right? It's the opposite. God says, do not be afraid. Do not fear. He says it hundreds of times in the Bible because he's with us, right? He's not going to leave you while you're out there pursuing your business. He's not going to leave you in the dirt. He hasn't left you since your starter kit showed up on your door, and he's not going to leave you when you're a Royal Crown Diamond sitting on a team of 35,000. He's not going to leave you, right? He brought this business to your door. He's not going to leave you when you're standing in front of people reading the script. He's not going to leave you when you got a rogue leader who's challenging your leadership in your group. He's not going to leave you when you get a customer complaint about how long shipping is taking, right? He's not going to leave you. He's not going to leave you when you're frustrated and how long it takes for you to hit the next rank. He's not going to leave you when you're fried and you just had a rank and you were in hustle mode and now you're tired, right? He's going to give you seasons of rest. He's going to give you seasons of hustle. He's going to give you purpose the entire journey, and you're going to grow into somebody that you never thought that you could be. All right. How do I reach more people? I'm aware of what their needs are. Okay. It's not about reaching more people. It's about an awareness of where they're at. So when I'm outside and I'm walking and I'm on my walk and I come across people on the path, connecting with those people. When I'm sitting at basketball games and there's parents next to me, connecting with those people. When I hear somebody coughing at church, pulling a cough drop out of my pocket and connecting with those people. When I see somebody hobbling in a grocery store, pulling out some Coolazol in my pocket and a sample and giving it to them and connecting with those people. When I see somebody who needs a little bit of help and needs some respiratory support, pulling out a breathe again rolling and connecting with those people. When I see somebody in Nordstrom who's had a very long stressful day, whipping out my stress away rolling and connecting with that person. So if you are not afraid to connect with people, every time you open your door, you've got an audience of tens of thousands, right? And there's only 100 that it takes to build you to silver. So it's not about enlarging your platform and reaching more people. It's about having eyes and ears to hear where they are so you can meet them in that place. And if you see somebody coughing or you see somebody stumbling, you're there, you're in that place, right? Becky says, what can I say to a member who was a leader but no longer wants to do the business because of compliance? I would tell them that they are letting go the greatest financial blessing of their life. And I would really strongly reconsider that. You gotta let a government entity take away freedom from your family. It's not worth it. And I'm strongly convinced that there is no MLM as good as this one. I'm not as excited about books or pots and pans or plasticware or clothing or makeup lines as I am about protecting families and protecting them in every way possible and giving them things, even medicinally, like the cough drops that cause them to not use poison in their homes. That they're going to need it forever. All right. There's 100% need for our products, whether you're male, female, child, adult, you have 100% market share. You don't have 50% or 30%, you have 100% market share. And so, yeah, I would tell her to really, really heavily pray on that because, ask for the Lord for the right words to speak. Really ask her for the right words to speak. And if she's scared, just use the wording in the virtual office. You don't have to overthink it. Just grab the stuff that Young Living's lawyers have already looked through, already grabbed, right? I would never, ever, ever, ever let the FDA rob me of a diamond ship, all right? Or a crown diamond ship. Like, this has totally changed our lives. We had sheets for doors a year ago, guys. A year ago. Poverty over, right? It's over forever. So you either pursue it or you don't. You pursue it or you stay at the 40-hour-a-week job that drains you, right? And I believe that the Lord has got so much more for you, so much more for you. But he's not going to just hand it to you. You got to get out there and you got to fight for it. You got to work for it, all right? I'm going to wrap this up. Your homework is to take a look at the next two chapters in game plan. So today is day 8. We'll be doing chapters 15 and 16 in the game plan book, and then also 15 and 16 in the game plan workbook. You're going to watch the boot camp video. This is the how to run a boot camp video. So in about 5 minutes, I'll put the actual boot camp video up. I want you to pop on, go post that to your teams. I'll give you the little write-up for it so you can put it on, interact with your teams, engage with them, all right? And just know that you were created for something amazing. Amazing, right? And you don't need to stay where you are. But the first step is really believing in your head that you can get out of where you are, right? Because if you let the FDA put its boot on your face and kick you to the ground, or, you let compliance kick you to the ground, or you let the naysayers and the people that say it's snake oil kick you to the ground, or you let the people out there Googling every negative thing they can find about Young Living put their boot on your face and kick you to the ground, you're allowing them to rob freedom from your family. Would you allow them to just reach into your purse and pull money out and walk away with it? Would you allow them to influence the job that you're at right now and you'd walk away from that? If the answer is no, then why do you do that for Young Living? Hold the same standard across the board, right? Hold the same standard. And the same standard is the protection of your family and the protection of your business and the protection of your time, right? And the belief that you can do this, right? You can do this. I believe in you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow is day 9 of 12. We're almost done with our leader training, and then I'll be leaving this on the website forever. So leaders that want to run their boot camps can get training from me also, not just the people that are doing boot camp, all right? I love you, and I'll catch you tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern.